Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Plan It Till You Make It. I hope you guys are doing well as always. As mentioned in the last video, I talked about things I will not be doing going into 2026 when it comes to my planning system. One thing I mentioned to you guys is that I wasn't going to overcomplicate my lineup, meaning that I don't need 5, 6, 7, 8 planners to complete my lineup. What I found is that some things need a physical planner and some things just need a simple insert. So I thought I would show you guys my thought process as I'm going into the new year, thinking about what planners I need to start the new year and what purchases I need to make to have a complete planning system for the new year and to make sure I am being cost effective. As I think about the new year and the planners I'll be using for the new year, I start off first by considering what are my life categories? Where am I right now in life? What are the things I need a tracker for? I need a planner for? And what are the things I need to be thinking about on a day to day to make sure I stay on track and be productive in my life? And as I think about that, the first thing I do is I start to think about my life categories. When I think about my life, when I think about what I do on a day to day basis, what are the different things that are important to me? And those things are tracking my goals. So I need a goals planner. Sorry, this is not going to be the handwriting you guys are used to. When I'm doing brain dump, I just write however. All right, so I'm thinking tracking my goals and I need a maybe like a planner that will be considered my personal planner. I am thinking about other things that are important to me is my faith. That includes journaling and that includes having a prayer journal. That includes also having a Bible study journal. So these are the things that are important to me when it comes to my faith. Next thing I'm thinking about I do have a business, so that's another area of my life. I have social media accounts for my business. That's important to me also. I'm thinking my finances, so budgeting. My family also is one thing that is important to me. I need to make sure I'm tracking what's going on in terms of our bills. I'm thinking about bills, I'm thinking about house supplies, I'm thinking about cleaning schedule, etc. That is something I need to keep track of. My health also. When I think health, I'm thinking exercise, I'm thinking tracking my cycle, etc. One thing also I've been focusing on is reading, so I do like to have a reading journal. Another thing in my life is currently I am in school, so maybe I need a planner for that. I need to keep up with school deadlines and things that are due for class, assignments, and such. When I look at this list and I'm thinking about everything I need to track, everything I need to think about on a day to day basis, I start to wonder okay, what are some things I need an actual physical planner for? I'm thinking about my planning system in 2025. I'm thinking about my planning system in life in general. And I'm thinking about what is the simplest thing for me to do? What is the thing that's going to require the less work? Because what I know is the more I have to think about it, the more work that goes into it, the less likely I'll open it, the less likely I'll check that planner. So I'm thinking, what is a system? What do I need to create a system that's going to address each one of those categories of my life? Where here do I need a physical planner? And I've used a physical planner in the past. Of course, that is my personal. Some people would call it a catch-all planner, which will be my main dated planner. When it comes to faith, I made a journaling planner. In the past, I've mentioned that before. I used to put my journaling planner together with my prayer journal, and I found that it doesn't work well for me. So I need an actual planner for that. And when I say an actual planner, I mean separate system. For my goals, I do need an actual planner for that. For journaling, I need a separate planning system for that. For my prayer journal, I do need a separate one for that. For Bible study, I used to just do my Bible study in my journal. However, there's a brand, she hasn't released her products yet, but she has a very good Bible study journal. And I've had a chance to use it a few times and I really love it. And I really want to implement that in my lineup this year. So this year I'm going to have a physical journal for Bible study. Also, when it comes to my business, I don't need an actual planner for my business. So this one will just be an insert, specifically a year at a glance. I need to know when I'm dropping certain things. I need to think about spring release, academic release, and also the fall release. So maybe a year at a glance where I can look at all of that. I don't need a weekly layout for my business. I just need some notes pages. So when something comes up, when something comes to my mind, I can just put it in there. Some notes pages. I don't need a month at a glance because I will track all of that in my main planner. Next is social media. Social media, I find that only an insert works for me. I don't need an actual planner for social media. And for this one, I'm going to need a year at a glance. I'm going to need some weekly pages that I find that works for me well also to plan my content throughout the week. And year at a glance weekly, I also need a month at a glance. Next is budget. I don't need an actual planner for budgeting. I just need some inserts. So that's what that's going to be for me, inserts. I do have one I've been playing with that I created. I don't need a month at a glance, maybe a year at a glance, just overall to see when my bills are due and what's due. I don't have so many bills in a month that I need to track. I need a physical planner for. However, what I have been doing is in my main planner, that's where I've been putting in all the bills that are due. And so I'll just need a separate place that I can write what the actual amount is for that bill. But as far as knowing when my bills are due, I can just put that in the monthly overview in my main planner. I might also need some notes pages for that, just in case something comes up or I just need to write something down. And that's that for budget. For family, I track a lot of the family budget. The only things I need to track for family is budget, knowing what we need for the house, etc. But one main thing I really do focus on is the budgeting, and that I tend to do online. That way I can share the file with everyone in the house. So that one is just an Excel sheet, maybe a year at a glance if I need to have an overview of what the family expenses are. When it comes to my health, I don't track much, I don't do much. One thing that is really important to me when it comes to my health is making sure I exercise regularly. I don't do meal planning, I don't really track macros and all of that. So for my health, one thing I do consistently is tracking my cycle. And so I'm going to need an insert for that, which I'll probably have to get printed, and maybe a year at a glance. So the days I work out, when I reach my 10,000 step goals, maybe I can also track that. So a year at a glance will help. For my reading journal, lately I've just been having it as inserts, but I won't need an actual planner for that, but I might need to separate my reading journal. I'm not sure. But for now, I'll just leave it as an insert. And I just need to print out some pages. Glance. All right. And then finally, the other area of my life is school. As I mentioned in my previous video, I tried having a planner for school. I didn't use it. I tried having inserts. I don't need it. The only thing that's important to me when it comes to my school is tracking when assignments are due, and I do that in my main planner. So I don't need a planner for school. So these are the things I think about when I am thinking about my lineup and I'm thinking about my playing system for the new year. I know it looks ugly and it's just the handwriting is off, but I'm just putting things down and I'm just thinking through it. I don't care for aesthetics. So then the next thing I start to think about, what do I already have in my stash and what things do I actually need to purchase? So this is when I bring in my task list and I start to break things down into categories. All right, so I'm going to start off with categories: to buy, to print, and maybe this can just be a brain dump. Even as I'm thinking about the system, maybe something comes to mind that I didn't consider before. So this is where I'll drop it. So what are my categories? My personal planner. I'm thinking journal, prayer journal. I'm thinking Bible study, business, social media, budget, family, health, and reading journal. I'm going to mark the ones I need a separate system for, and that is personal, my regular journal, my prayer journal, and my Bible study journal. So for personal, I'm going to use the Play It Till You Make It planner. I already know that I don't need to buy it. For journaling, I need notes pages. So I'll probably just print those out. So I'm thinking maybe print out maybe 50 pages for now because I'll need some for these other categories also. Prayer journal. For the prayer journal, I also need some notes pages, so I'll get some from here. So what I would probably need is probably a cover, but I already have a cover for both my regular journal and my prayer journal. This is my regular journal. Like I said, I just use notes pages. I don't need a cover. I'm going to use the same cover I was using last year. Maybe in the future I can create my own cover because I don't exactly love the fact that it's open and I don't have anything to close it. I bought this off of Amazon, and also I got the dividers, I believe, from Live Love Posh. I don't remember. And these labels are from a different company. I tried and I bought these labels from them. I just do my regular journaling in here, just do some notes pages, and I also write down my dreams. So either I have to look through my stash, see if I have some papers so I can add to here. For my prayer journal, I already have a cover for it, so I don't need to buy that. I think the only things I might need to buy are some sticky notes. This cover is from Live Love Posh, by the way. The only thing I might need to do, like I said, buy some sticky notes. I already have dividers. I'll probably have to go back and clean this up because I think a lot of things are all over the place. When I say I might need to buy sticky notes for my prayer journal, this is what I mean, because I write prayers on sticky notes and I tape them down. The reason why when I do my prayer journal, I do sticky notes is when I have insert prayers or the prayer changes, I can just easily move it around the planner. So as I do have a section for insert prayers. So let's say this particular person, their prayer has been answered. I can just pick up the sticky note. Well, this is a cutesy. I use washi tape for this one. I can just pick it up and add it to the insert section. So I do need some more of these. I need some grit paper. So for Bible study, I do need to buy, like I said, I already know which one I'm going to use. She gave me one to try out. So that would be something I would need to buy for my Bible study. For business, I need to print out Year at a Glance. I'm going to use the one from the Play to Make It Planner for this one, for the box Year at a Glance. And then I also need like the lined Year at a Glance. And I might need to design it. I did find a template online, but I need to tweak it a little bit to make it work for me. So I'm going to need to design this. This is what I mean by a year at a glance. There are two different kinds of year at a glance. Some companies have it lines by lines, so you can just write things down and they're dated. And then there's this one that comes in the Play to Make It Planner. So I need both this one and I need the line one. Year at a glance for social media, that's 2. Year at a glance for budgeting, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I'll just print out, I'll do 10 pages and I'll do 10 pages here also that I need to print out. And then next, we're taking business social media. For social media, I'm going to use these notepads that I created. This is what I've been using for the past few months and it has been working wonders for me. Normally, what I will do is I'll write the category for each day. I didn't get to do that here. This is for the future. I'll write the date, I'll write the category for each date, and then I'll write down what I need to film and just some brain dump. But most times I usually write down what I need to film or pictures I need to take. I write them here, and then whatever I schedule for the week, I write it here. And that's what I'll be using for social media. And then when I'm done with it, these pages are perforated. So I'll probably just rip them out and then hole punch them and then put them in my planner. I probably don't need them because sometimes once I have my content scheduled for the week, it'll probably just stay in the notepad. But if I need to archive it, maybe I'll take it out and hole punch it. I created it so that it's exactly 7 by 9.25. So it'll fit perfectly in the Play to Make It Planner. That's that. So we need some month at a glance pages. So those I'll probably have to print out. I don't need a month at a glance for the business. I do need a month at a glance for social media. So that's one. I do want one for journaling because I think I want to use month at a glance to do my gratitude journaling. I think that's easier. That way it'll be easier when I just open it. I can just look over everything in front of me and then I can just pray over it. For budgeting, we didn't need anything. And I do need to print out a cycle tracker. I have one I created. I just need to print it out. Let me put it here. Update period tracker. That's for my health. For my reading journal, the first time I did my reading journal, let me see if I can show you guys. The first time I did my reading journal, I drew everything by hand. So I went in and I did all of that by hand. But it takes so much time that I don't know if I want to do that again this year. I don't know if I want to do that again. Last year, what I did is I just went online. I think I designed this. I think I designed this. Yes, I did design this. I don't think I found this online. Or if I did find it online, I think I made some adjustments. So, and I also printed these from online, or I don't know, I designed it, I'm not sure. So yeah, so I just created those. That way I don't have to buy these stickers. I don't have to buy all of that. That's what I did here. So I'll probably use some of these pages I have here. I have been reading a lot of books that I have yet to add to this list. I'll just print out just the bare thing to update my reading journal. I'm not going to do it by hand. It's just too much work. It's cute, but it was too much work. So that's what I'm doing. So I'm just going to put print out reading journal pages. And I do need to update reading journal. All right. So I think that is it as far as my planning system. As you can see, a lot of things I just need to print out. Some things I already have in my stash, so I don't need to buy. And so far, only basically 2 things I kind of need to buy. As far as my pens are concerned, I have enough pens. We talked about that. I have enough washies, so I'm good on that. Like I said, I'm going to use the dividers I have here. Let me show you guys. I have these dividers here. I'm just going to recycle them. I don't need new ones, and that is about it. That's about it. So based on that, I'm going to be able to know exactly what I need for my lineup. I'm going to know what I need to print out so I can set up my planner. Okay, so I hope this was helpful for you guys. If you're confused about the whole thing and you feel overwhelmed, I always encourage you, take out a piece of paper, think about your life categories. What do you actually need to track in life? Maybe there's something you'd like to track or maybe try out. There are some free templates online. Just print them out and try them out. See if it's something you would like to commit a whole planner to. If not, just start with just inserts. Well, that's if you use the disc system. If you're someone who uses the disc system, this will be easy for you. Just buy some inserts or find some inserts online and put it in your planner. For things you need a physical planner for, then by all means go ahead and buy it. Like I said, for me, as far as planner is concerned, I only need one dated planner, and that's where I'm going to track my school, my exercises, habit tracker. Everything is going to be in that one planner. Let me show you guys what I mean by that. I kind of showed it in the last video, but I can show you guys here again. This is what I mean by using the Play It Till You Make It planner to track everything. All of my school assignments, I track the bills in here, everything that's due. All of my class assignments I also track in here. I do have this section, things I need to do for the month, to buy my school assignments, my goals. And when it comes to the weekly overview, this is where I track my school tasks. So school tasks, that's where I put everything that is due, and sometimes I put it throughout the week also. I do the same thing here. I do the same thing here. In the 2026 Play It Till You Make It planner, I did have a poll and everyone said to get rid of these. This will be blank for you in the Play It Till You Make It 2026 planner. This will be blank, this will be blank, and this section will be blank also. That way you can write in whatever you need to write in. Of course, these are non-negotiables because the Play It Till You Make It planner is about tracking your goals. So I do have a section for you to put in your weekly goals. I do have a section for you to track your habits. And that is it. I hope you guys found this helpful. I hope it kind of eased the fear of going into the new year, maybe kind of help you really narrow down what you actually need. If you're feeling overwhelmed in this season and you're saying all these planner lineups and you feel like you need everything, this is a great place to start. So you'll be able to see exactly what you need going into the new year, so it could take away some of that stress. Okay. So I hope I was able to help you do that with this plan with me. And I hope you guys enjoy. That's it. Bye.